Good evening and welcome to Real Talk with Tamara. As you guys come into the room, please do hit the like button. Also, if you have not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. I hope that you guys are doing okay. I know that I am. I always express the importance of hitting the like button because the like button helps keep the video in the algorithm. Okay, so like, share, subscribe, comment, all of those great things. Okay, I wanted to talk about um oh, if you want to support the channel, you can support the channel via Cash App. I wanted to talk about first the second former MPD officer accused and fatally unaliving Tyree Nichols to death. Changes plea. Okay. I want to talk about that right quick. And then I'm going to talk about, I got two subjects that I want to talk about, you guys. I want to say while I'm going to this, I want to thank everyone for their prayers. My cousin's grandbaby, of course, you all know that the three-car accident. I mean, the accident that happened in East Memphis the other day, where three people were unfortunately lost their lives, and the baby was in critical. Was my cousin's, um, actually my first cousin's um, daughter, and his baby's mother, and one of their relatives, and his grandbaby. And I told you all that the grandbaby was a fighter. She has been upgraded to um she's been upgraded. She's no longer in ICU. So she is strong. She's got a fighting spirit. Her mother's side had well, her grandmother's side had a fighting spirit, and my cousins, our side has a fighting spirit also. And I got the opportunity today. I had a lot going on today, I promise. I got a lot done though. But I tell you, I was from one thing to another, and I promised myself, I was like, I am going to, because my family had a gathering, um, at one of my aunt's house. And my cousin seems to be doing okay. He's smiling and stuff, but his eyes are bloodshot red. You could tell that he's been crying a lot, and that's bothersome to me. The fact that he's smiling, but it looks like a tear might drop at any moment. It's very heartbreaking to try when men try and play strong, you know. But his eyes are bloodshot red. So I'm praying for him too. And I did, everybody had been posting pray for the baby. And um and she was upgraded. So prayer works. And, that was my cousin had two daughters. He had two daughters and two sons. And Dantrice was one of his daughters, And he's got Dantrice and Danielle. And they were named for him, Danny. And I hate that more than I hate anything that happened. And it was senseless. But I guess the good thing is that the baby is has been upgraded. She's no longer the 2-year old. It's no longer in ICU. And somebody was telling me today that I was talking to. It was like, if we could only just get the kids to stop hollering. They just broken, and I know that they are because they had small kids, so it's just a bad thing. All because, I guess these kids want to play cops and robbers. That auto theft game. They dream of, they don't know how to decipher reality, and so they're taking out families. And so when stuff like that happens, I feel like, they need to get the death penalty. I don't care how old they are. Okay, you take a life, you need to have to deal with that. Okay, okay. Um, so here it is right here. But I just wanted to thank you all for your prayers and stuff. Um, a second former MPD officer accused and fatally beating Tyree
Good
Nichols
afternoon. I'm
strangers
attorney
plea.
Ben Crump, along with attorney Tony Ramanucci
And we're just gonna look
and
at a little bit of
Judge
this.
Ernestine Doyce. We have the honor of representing the family of Tyree Nichols.
Okay, let me just read this because it says that's 39 minutes. We'll look at that, but it says Emmett Martin pled guilty on Friday afternoon to counts 1 and 3 of the 4-count indictment, charging him with federal civil rights charges, conspiracy, and obstruction offenses resulting in the death of Tyree Nichols. Count 1 of the indictment alleges that the defendant violated Nichols' right to be free from the use of unreasonable force by a police officer by assaulting him and by failing to intervene in the unlawful assault. It alleges that the offense resulted in bodily injury and the death of Nichols. He also pled guilty to count 3 of the indictment, which alleged that all 5 defendants conspired to cover up their use of unlawful force by leaving out material information and by providing false and misleading information. He could spend up to 480 months or 40 years maximum in federal prison. This is another crucial component to getting uh, accountability. The dominoes are starting to fall, said civil rights attorney Ben Crump. The district attorney's office released a statement regarding the plea charge. Today, Emmett Martin entered a guilty plea in federal court, which will lead to a substantial and well-deserved sentence. From the beginning, our office was closely coordinated, our state prosecution with the federal prosecution. We expect at the appropriate time, Martin will enter a similar plea in state court. The district attorney's office says that though the guilty plea marks a step towards closure for the family of Tyree Nichols, there is still more work to be done. I'm hoping that after today, the other 3 officers will look in the mirror and say they are guilty because I know that they are. And Tyree's mother, Rovon Wells, until we get justice, I won't be content. Martin is due back in court in December on December the 5th. I think this is it right here.
First at 6 on your news leader, a second former Memphis police officer charged in connection with the death of Tyree Nichols is expected to change his plea from not guilty to guilty. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Stephanie Skurlock.
And I'm Greg Hurst. This all is expected to happen at a federal court hearing tomorrow. Our Brian Didlake is at the federal courthouse downtown with the very latest. And Brian, what do you know?
Well, Greg, Stephanie, we learned Emmett Martin is scheduled to appear here in federal court before U.S. District Judge Mark Norris tomorrow to change his plea as part of an agreement with prosecutors. Martin was reportedly the first to see Tyree Nichols before Martin's Scorpio unit responded. His former colleague Desmond Mills changed his plea to guilty back in November. 3 other fired officers, Darius Bean, Demetrius Haley, and Justin Smith, remain charged with federal civil rights violations. They also have been charged with second-degree murder and other offenses in state court. The case gained national attention in 2023 after police released video showing all 5 officers beating Nichols just steps away from his home. An autopsy report showed Nichols died from blows to the head and that the manner of death was homicide. Community leaders we spoke with say now with a second former officer changing their plea deal, it may be a prelude on what is to come.
I think at the end of the day, the officers are asking us, who do we believe, them or our lying eyes? And I think as time goes on, the truth of what we all saw is coming to light.
The Shelby County District Attorney's Office also reacted.
Okay, so I'm happy, that he has pleaded guilty. And I know people say all the time, well, are you still pro police? I am pro police to those police officers that are out there protecting and serving and doing the right thing. I think I've said from the very beginning that I don't support police officers like this. I don't support police officers like this. These are when police officers are out there mistreating people, they're just thugs with badges. I think I've always said that, right? But I do support those officers that are out there putting their lives on the line to protect and serve citizens of any county. Okay. So that doesn't change, but I'm happy that Tyree Nichols's mother is finally about to get some peace as it relates to her son. It was definitely a senseless unaliving. Okay. I was gonna play a little bit of what she had to say, so I want to show that.
Citizens who look like Tyree Nichols. The blood is not only on these officers' hands, the blood is on the Memphis Police Department and everybody who instituted the policy of the smoking unit. And it is emotional. And so you're going to hear from Rovon Wells and Rodney Wells. They're going to speak from their heart. Attorney Ramanuja and I, we lawyers, we train to deal with this. No parent is trained to deal with losing their child like this.
Okay, let me hear her.
To hear another police officer plead guilty in my son's murder. It was kind of bittersweet. The fact that I had to hear him plead guilty for all those charges that were presented in court today. But at that same token, he's not in prison yet. So as far as I'm concerned, you know, I know I'm rambling a little bit, but this is very difficult. I have 4 children. One of my kids is gone now because of the Memphis Police Department. Tyree was just coming home. He was minding his own business and he was just coming home. Now we have 5 police officers. All y'all saw the video. I didn't see the video, but I do know that Martin and Haley were one of the main people that did the things to my son.
Heart goes out to Tyree Nicholson's mother, and like I said, I hate that that happened. Those officers make the rest of the officers that are out there doing good and protecting and serving with the Memphis Police Department look bad. And it's unfortunate because when things of this nature happens, people are traumatized and they tend to group in even the good officers with the bad officers. And um, I do know a lot of Memphis police officers that work for that department does not agree with what those thugs with badges did and would have never done that too. There are a lot of good officers out there, but I can understand, because of the trauma of losing her child. It's just sad on so many levels. It makes police officers and any law enforcement officer, whether it's police or sheriff or the Federal Bureau of Investigations, the DEA, when officers do law enforcement officers do things of this nature, it makes those good officers all the way across the board, all the way across states, look terrible. But I'm happy that she's getting justice, and hopefully this will be a lesson to those and be a deterrence to those officers who want to get out there and mistreat people, right? Well, rest in peace to Tyree Nichols, okay? And my heart goes out to his family. I also wanted to talk about MPD, a man high on meth ties up a woman and fires a weapon, okay? Let's look at that right quick. Hate that man. Hate that man. Okay. I found this interesting. Stop. Y'all hold on. Okay. It says, man high on meth ties up woman and fires a weapon. It says, police says a man high on meth tied up a woman and fired a gun through the window of a Cordova home Thursday night. No one was injured by the gunfire, but Dean Dricus, I mean, that name set him up for failure right there already in life. Dean Dricus Ford, 32, was charged with aggravated assault, reckless endangerment, false imprisonment, and being a convicted felon in possession of a firearm. Police say when they arrived at the house at the 7200 block of Dexter Road, they found Ford barricaded inside a room with a woman. The woman said she met Ford a few days earlier, and when she arrived at the house, Ford was already hallucinating and snorting ice or meth. So he was snorting, they call that snouting. They call that snouting. The victim said Ford thought he was in danger and began barricading them inside the bedroom by piling dressers and mattresses at the door. She said Ford accused her of trying to set him up and tie her hands behind her back with a white sheet towel. The victim said Ford threatened to unalive her, placed her in front of a window as a shield, and began firing a gun above her head out the bedroom window. Investigators said they found 2 bullet holes in the window. Police said the shooting happened in a residential neighborhood with several homes nearby. It did not appear bullets hit any of the houses. Ford was transported to the hospital for a mental evaluation. Police said Ford has a lengthy criminal history and pleaded guilty to aggravated robbery in 2011. Ladies, y'all gonna get enough of meeting these fools and going to their house. I'm listen, it ain't even good. I'm paranoid about going to people's houses. Okay, I'm not one to do that anyways. I don't, because when you go in, you don't know how to come out. Okay, that's just how I feel. If I go in here, will I be able to come out? Especially if I don't know the person well enough. If I start feeling comfortable enough with them, I might let them come to my house. That's because I know I got all the knives and my weapons and stuff. It is usually a hand, a lean away. I lean to one side is one. I lean to another side. He gonna take one to the neck or something like that. He make one false move. I know where all the traps at, where I keep my stuff. Okay. And I know people say, well, you shouldn't let folks come to your house. No, you should not unless you feel really, really comfortable with them. But you shouldn't be going to their house. Maybe you ought to meet them out, okay, or something like that. I think it's good to meet people out and you drive your car, they drive theirs before you get to know them. But so many people are mentally ill now. I mean, it means nothing. It means nothing if you get to know him now. She met him a few days ago and he ties her up and start popping above her head because he feel like she's trying to set him up. I'm so happy that, he did not unalive her. Okay, so then they get him and take him on to the damn nut house, right? And Dexter Road, around Dexter Road, those are really nice houses. That's out there in Cordova. Dexter, they got some big houses out there. Yeah, hold on. That used to be the area back in the day. Nothing but nice houses. I'm getting ready to show y'all. I mean, nothing but nice houses. That's why she jumped up and went over there. He might have a nice house. I'm gonna show y'all Dexter Road. I know, cause I know Dexter Road, cause I be in Cordova sometimes. See, it ain't nothing but big nice houses over there. I know that. So she jumped up and ran over there. She thought cause he's living in a nice neighborhood that it would be okay. And he a damn fool. Okay, he's a damn fool. So ladies, y'all be careful, men too, cause a lot of these women are off of their rockers too. They just as crazy as road lizards. Okay, crazy as road lizards. You have to pick and choose, okay, who you allow into your energy and your space, into your head. Pick and choose. Life is too short. Get to know people, okay? Get to know people. Don't. Don't everybody does not deserve to have access to you, right? And you go into somebody's house, you don't know anything about that house. You get in there, they might turn out all the lights. Y'all, I be thinking about stuff. I done seen too much. They turn out all the darn lights like Hannibal Lecter and put on things, them glasses where they can see in the dark. You can't see nothing. That fool was capable of doing it. They took him right straight to the nut house. Crazy as a road, is it? And you know why they took him to the crazy house? Because he had a history of going to the crazy house. So they took him to the nut house, right? Because that was his history. And she done jumped up and went over there, but I'm glad the young lady is all right. But ladies, let this be a lesson, child. They might have a big house, but they might have um about 15 or 16 big personalities too. Okay. They flips out, they be on drugs, but he was on meth. But I think they said he was on meth. He was hallucinating. He was on some type of drug, but even with him being on some type of drug, they took him to the crazy house because he got some mental illnesses. Okay. So he's a mentally ill meth head. Okay. He's a mentally ill junkie. Okay. That's what he is. He's a mentally ill junkie. And that's a real bad combination. You own drugs and then you crazy. Yeah, that's a pitiful. Ooh, that's a almost a deadly combination. Y'all see what almost happened to her? That's a sad combination, mentally ill and on drugs. Okay. So, anyways, I thought that would be interesting. Y'all just be careful about when you go into these people's houses and you don't really know them. Okay. Get to know people real well. Because if you get to know you talk to them long enough, that crazy gonna come out. I'm telling you. I holds on to every word people say because I have to see something. Okay, I have to see something. I be asking questions to see, just to see, because these people are crazy. They any little thing might make a person snap and lose control. Right? You have to see if they know how to handle themselves. In certain ways and all of that. Because these people are crazy. You might say something to them and they snap on you. You go, "What did I do?" They snap on you and unload on you. So just ain't no wrong with talking on the phone. Talk to them and until you can see something. Because one thing about crazy, it can't hide forever. They have episodes, okay? Them episodes come out. They can't hide it. It pops up like a Pop Tart, okay? So just keep talking to them before you actually meet them out, okay? Anyways, you guys, I want you guys to please like, share, and subscribe. If you would like to support the channel, you could definitely support the channel via Cash App.